from Dubbo Regional Council. Matthew Dickerson, how are you?
Well, I've been better actually, Rod. I'd like to chat to you about all sorts of exciting things that are happening in Council today. The chat's going to be about things that aren't so great on Council.
Yes, I was down there the past 3 days and get back here and I don't think I did anything, but there's something wrong with the water.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got obviously floodwaters coming down. Those floodwaters pick up all sorts of debris along the riverbanks, and of course that includes some animal feces and probably even some animals that have died along the way there, and then parts of those get picked up. That all gets mixed into the water. Now, we take that into our water treatment plant, and we know that water's not perfect in the river, so you take that water in and you treat that water, and that goes out then as safe drinking water to our residents. Unfortunately, there is a number of measures that we constantly monitor. One of them is the turbidity level. Now, we need to have that below 0.5, which obviously it normally is. Last night, our constant monitoring of that picked up that it was up to 0.52. Some further investigation, it was down at 0.48. So it was just hovering around that 0.5 level. So we actually turned our water treatment plant off last night. The reservoirs in Dubbo have got enough to keep us going for a couple of days. And then we did some more testing this morning. The turbidity level is still just above that 0.5. So unfortunately, we've turned the water treatment plant back on. That'll start filling up those reservoirs, which means there's a potential, only small, but there's still potential that you could have some cryptosporidium in that water because of that turbidity level. So we're saying to everyone, if you're going to drink water, use it to brush your teeth, use it to wash up with or prepare baby formula, then you need to boil that water before you actually do anything with it. And obviously for your listeners, you might have your listeners come down to Dubbo and even stay at a motel or stay at a friend's place. You mightn't be thinking about that, but absolutely, if you're going to put that water in your mouth, then please boil it before you use it.
Yes, as I say, I was down there for 3 days, so I was using the water supply there, and I know that when I drive around I can pick up 2WEB quite nicely, and we have many listeners in the Dubbo Regional Council area, so it's just a bit of a warning.
Yeah, a bit of a warning, that's right. Now, we're expecting to have this in place for at least 7 days because we do have a fair length of water supply in our reservoirs. Even if we solve the problem and got that turbidity level below 0.5 right now, then just to get all that water flushed through those reservoirs can take up to 7 days. So from a safety perspective, we're saying that it's going to be in place for at least 7 days. We'll keep monitoring that. Obviously, we're working on that. A lot of it does depend, Rod, just on that water coming down the river, obviously those flood waters or those high water levels getting to the point where that's effectively flushed out some of the water and we're getting better quality water coming into the water treatment plant. We're also taking more from our bores, which obviously aren't impacted by the floods to the same level. So we're trying to work out a way to get that turbidity below 0.5, but up to 7 days or at least 7 days we'll have that in place for. So, and that also applies to the villages around Dubbo, Rod, because our water treatment plant in Dubbo doesn't just supply Dubbo. If you've got people that live in Firgrove or Wongarbin or Yamundry, Ballymore, Mogrigai, Brocklehurst, all those villages get their water from the Dubbo water treatment plant. Geary doesn't. Geary's got their own water treatment plant. Wellington's got its own water treatment plant, but those villages around Dubbo all use the Dubbo water supply. So again, if you're visiting a friend and you go down and stay at their place in Yamundry or Wongarbin, any of those places, you've got to boil the water there.
All right. Well, all the best to yourself and the good citizens of Dubbo and your region. I hope it is fixed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for getting me on so quickly to tell your listeners about this.